If you're struggling to find work, it might be worth considering a tattoo. Job seekers have a better chance of being hired if the interviewer spots ink on their skin, according to new research. This is because the artwork gives prospective candidates an advantage over their peers, as tattoos help them to look more fashionable. The 2-year study also found that wages and annual earnings of tattooed employees were statistically indistinguishable from those without. Bosses who continue to discriminate against people with tattoos may be settling for a less qualified pool applicant, researchers warned. The research was conducted by University of Miami Business School. Researchers, who surveyed more than 2,000 people across the U.S. over the last 2 years, found that in the hiring market, tattooed job seekers were just as likely, and in some instances even more so, to gain employment. The long-held stigmas associated with having tattoos, and particularly visible ones, may be eroding, especially among younger individuals who view body art as a natural and common form of personal expression, said lead author Professor Michael French, a health economist at the University of Miami Business School. Given the increasing prevalence of tattoos in society, around 40% for young adults, hiring managers and supervisors who discriminate against tattooed workers will likely find themselves at a competitive disadvantage for the most qualified employees. Wages and annual earnings of tattooed employees were statistically indistinguishable from those without them. Researchers found, it is estimated a fifth of British adults has a tattoo, rising to about 3 in 10 of those aged 16 to 44. Meanwhile, around 20% of US adults have tattoos. Traditionally, it has been said those with ink are risking their careers, with many high-ranking managers of an older generation whose traditional view may be that it signifies a less reliable character. This view has been corroborated by past research, which suggested bosses generally see tattooed people as less employable. However, the latest research shows attitudes could be changing. Our research surprisingly found no evidence of employment, wage or earnings discrimination against people with various types of tattoos, said Professor French from the University of Western Australia. In our sample, and considering a variety of alternative estimation techniques, not only are the wages and annual earnings of tattooed employees in the United States statistically indistinguishable from the wages and annual earnings of employees without tattoos, but tattooed individuals are also just as likely, and in some instances even more likely, to gain employment. These results suggest that, contrary to popular opinion as well as research findings with hiring managers and customers, having a tattoo does not appear to be associated with disadvantage or discrimination in the labor market. In the UK, the law on equality in the workplace does not cover those with tattoos as a protected characteristic. Previous research has found that tattooed people are widely perceived by hiring managers to be less employable than people without tattoos, said Professor French. This is especially the case for those who have visible tattoos, particularly offensive ones, that are difficult to conceal. 2 years ago, a study of almost 200 managers in the UK and US suggested having tattoos can actually increase employment chances where the clientele is younger. It found managers seeking a bartender for a hypothetical nightclub gave higher ratings to images in which the candidate was tattooed. Those looking for a waiter at an upscale restaurant, however, gave the tattooed images a lower rating. The University of St Andrews study found offensive tattoos depicting misogynistic, satanic, or fascist imagery, or anything related to drinking or drugs, were always unacceptable.